what I like, they had what's called a craft wagon. It's a truck that's pulled out on the street, and there's all the drinks and ice cream bars. They have a stove. They'll cook you grilled cheese sandwiches any time of the day or night, so they have food all the time. Anything you can imagine is available to you. So we lived pretty good. The ladies of Thornwood, well, all the people in Thornwood were told that they could be extras. I was offered a little role, and I wouldn't take it because I learned early on in my life you have to choose which side of the footlights you want to be on. And I'm one of the people that likes to do things. I like to work. I like to do things. I'm hands-on. So I said, no, there's no way, no how am I ever going to do anything. Well, all the little ladies, they asked them to come up and be ladies. There's a little thing where they have historical society ladies going in and into the house because it's just opened again. And so the lady that was going to drive our neighborhood ladies couldn't make it, so I wound up doing it. Maria Revisa across the street, she says, she's German, she says, oh, come on, Deanna, and play with us. And so they insisted, and I got dressed up, went to wardrobe, wore some 70s stuff that I hated the fashion in the 70s, I have to tell you. Some really great polyester, and hats and fun things. And you get your hair done, it takes them no time. Makeup, I have to tell you, I never looked so good. They can knock 20 years off of you just like that. I mean, you should see what they're doing. I'm going like, that can't be me. But it was pretty nice, and so I drove them, and so I walked through. I have no doubt that I, at least, because I requested not to be seen, but we did go play historical ladies that are members of a historical society. So that was kind of fun. Anybody else? If there's no questions, I'll tell you a little bit about some of the rooms. Now, I have 2 rooms. I'm going to show you upstairs a little bit, but I can't explain it to you as we go up, so I need to kind of give you a verbal tour. So when you see things, you'll know what you're looking at. At the presidential, we have some guests that are sitting in here listening to me now, so we won't go into their room. But across from that is the blue room. It was a guest room. You can, we'll go up the stairs. Right in front of us will be Chester's room, which was Mr. Thorne's room. He had the room, one of the smaller rooms. It was at the top of the stairs. He could see anyone who came into his property and anyone who was from either side. Yes, ma'am? Did you need me? This is my husband, Wayne Robinson.
Hi.
Hello.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't one of our guests that was parked in front of John Lee's yard over there.
Was?
Well, it's a black, that's a 2.0 SI, license 717 LSR.
Yeah.
Kind of on the far side of the street
Yeah.
over there. Maybe I can get you to move it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Welcome, everybody.
That's our one that we prefer that no one ever stepped foot. But
Sorry
it's a
about
problem.
that. Jeez.
But anyway, so you'll see Chester's room at the head of the stairs. If you go to the left and just on the right, we have someone in the grand view, but just on the right is a suite called Anna's Suite, and that was Mrs. Thorne's room, and it overlooked the garden. We can go, as we go to the right, you'll see a room called the Blue Room, which was a guest room. For those of you that want to go to the 3rd floor, the 3rd floor was not servants' quarters. It was guest rooms. There's a little blue room there that was Mrs. Thorne's sewing room. As you turn to the right, on your left is a room that was Mrs. Thorne's sewing room. On the right is a room that we call Rose Red. And then to your left is the bathroom for those rooms. And then on down the hall, we call it Casablanca. But there's another room that had a little kitchen and a bath. There's 2 rooms and all down there. Now, those are remnants, all remnants of apartments. They made apartments out of everything that could be lived in. There's a couple of rooms up there that we're working on. The doors are locked, or I would show you. They're still disaster. We've just got water damage done, and we're putting a library, movie room up there. So we have the big home theater thing for people and for our family when it's Super Bowl and that kind of thing. We have a lot of children and grandchildren, and so they all come here. And wherever we go, we have a lot of family. which unfortunately you cannot see now. They were there originally, and we ordered them and had them put back in. Those have been in about 6 weeks. And they're really wonderful in the daytime because they totally light up the 3rd floor. And also, you get a chance to see the chimneys, which is very fascinating. And you can watch the snow or the rain or the stars, and so that's really nice. The next room was the Great Hall, and you call this the Green Room, right? Was that what they called it?
That's right.
They call this room the Green Room. In this light, it's hard to tell, but there is a lot of green in this room, really. And I suspect, did they have chairs and rugs and things with a lot of green? It looked like the draperies were brocade. I don't have colored photos.
I remember it mostly as chairs around the outside.
Right.
Mostly open in the middle.
Right. Well, that's kind of what we tell, but it looks like they had some kind of brocade drapes, and they had drapes before these doors and drapes here and lots of different things that we'll have to think about, because I kind of like the open look, so we might keep it this way for a while. So there's the Great Hall that they would come in. That was their receiving area. I'm going to show you a room over that's was Mrs. Thorne's dining room. We use it for dining room, sitting room. The little double doors over here, if you won't judge me too harshly, I'll show you in there. It was what was the library. All the shelves had been taken out. The wood here, almost all, was destroyed. This room, as it is now, was the way it was originally, this Great Hall. But that is not original. It was cut quarter sawn. Even the trim pieces were all quarter sawn, so that it could not, so it looks like it, but it isn't. The wood was torn down and thrown away, and it was painted. And it was painted with latex, and it could not be stripped. We tried to strip, like the radiator covers. They worked and worked to strip some things, and it could not be stripped. And it's very unfortunate. It's very sad to see that all destroyed. But it looks great now. But in that room, all the bookshelves were taken out. What existed, we do still have some of them, but they were painted so that they cannot be stripped. Those doors there were wood, and we can't strip them either. So, but I've got some new fabric coming for draperies, so I got a lot of red velvet laying on the sofa, but it's where my husband and I have breakfast, and I read a lot there and that kind of thing. So, but I'll show you that kind of on the way out. This is a loggia out here. It's just a porch. And we have a fountain laying out there that's going to go back up on the wall. The fountain from there is at Lake Wall. I'm sorry you can't see the garden. I do have some photographs that are lovely, and I'm glad to share those with you. We also have brochures. Feel free to take as many as you like. Have 100,000s. My husband was buying a bargain. I said, well, what are we going to do? And he said, well, but this is such a good price, so you may take all you like. Anything else before we walk around? We also have water if you want it, and Cassie's going to bring in sparkling cider. There's coffee out here, and we have just some little cookie things that we'll set out too. So we'll just set those right here if you like to make refreshment. Yes, ma'am.
What is the best time to stay here for the full effect of the garden?
For the garden, I would say August, September, maybe the last mid-July through. I mean, I have to be honest with you, it's incredibly beautiful most of the time, but I'm really fond of hydrangeas, and there's a whole bank of hydrangeas. Of course, we've got several areas of roses, lots of perennials, lots of annuals too. So each season has its own beauty. I like it now because I like the winter look. It looks old. Yes, ma'am.
You could plan to continue the teas throughout the summer, once a month?
Yes, the first Thursday of each month at 1 o'clock. You have to have a reservation. And I'm not going to be able to do anything weekend during the summer. But we plan to try to do always great. She loves to do them because it makes her feel at home. Anything else? So is everybody ready to stand up? Let me tell you where the restrooms are. There's one right around the corner here. There's one right at the other side of the statue. Oh, and then there's one in the stairs. Two things of real interest historically is the painting on this wall is called Revelation. It's from the 17th century Italian school. It's a picture of a lady of the night with her handmaidens, and they're weaving pearls and jewels in her hair. She has a mirror on the easel. She looks into her mirror and sees a reflection of Christ, and thus it's titled Revelation. And then she has that angelic, kind of like Michelangelo, the traditional old master look on her face. So you might enjoy that. It's quite valuable, and we tried to hang it so that people could see it up close and enjoy it. We've got a little bit of repair to do to it, but you're welcome to just look. That's the only thing in here. We'd ask that if you have a camera, you're welcome to photograph it. Please don't take pictures of that because we'd like to keep it. The statue here is quite valuable. It was done by a gentleman who has pieces at the Louvre in Paris. It's called Florentine Maiden. We had a gentleman come by and offer us $150,000 for her. She's a marble sculpture. And he was going to take it to auction in Christie's. And I call that my savings account. If I ever have a hard time making the payments. And you'll know when I'm having a hard time making the payments because you'll come in and she'll be gone. So you'll say, that Deanna, she can't make her payments, so the lady went. But right now we plan to keep her as long as we can. And we really thank you guys for coming.
Thank you so much. There's the
something in it. What's the story on this statue here?
Yes, my wife can tell you the best, but it's in marble. It's done by an artist who has several major European